Alrighty, so this is DC We the People News. Okay. I'm not an attorney, not giving legal advice. Anything I say or do, it's just my opinion. Nothing else. Take it with a grain of salt. Why? Because I'm not an attorney. That's why, people. And I signed a bar contract saying I'm not allowed to give legal advice. Alright, never look straight forward. Always look around you. Be able to protect yourself by any means necessary. Okay? I may have had to say it twice because it's real hard for some people to comprehend. All right, so I started off on this right quick, more of anything else. Um, if you guys get a chance, this right here, okay, the tribe, subscribe to him because everything he does is by American jurisprudence, okay, and he reads it and all that kind of stuff. Uh, Let me back that up. It's not every single thing, but a lot of them. All right. And so I have not seen this one yet, but I've seen his videos because I want to be educated. I want to use my Second Amendment and arm myself with knowledge. All right. Um, this right here, I think, is going to be especially good, which I have not seen yet, right? Constitutional law provision for full faith and credit. Okay. So I think if you guys never looked him up, I think just in that title alone, it'd be just beneficial. And it's an hour and 8 minutes long. All right. If you want me to do it and break it down into different sections, let me know in the comments, and I'll find time to do it because I still want it on my record as well. All right. But that being said, the reason why we're here is back over here and finish Tiger out. All right, and I may do this one, okay? And I'm not a Moors type of guy, or what they do per se and call it Moors. But my understanding, everybody calls them sovereign citizens. But they're sovereign citizens because they actually use the Constitution and not the statutes of the administrative. Why do you think the government wants to throw sovereign citizens out there, right? Because they don't want to use statutes, codes, rules, and regulations. Okay, they don't want the administrative when you have constitutional rights. So I haven't seen very many deals about the Moors to just really go all out in it, but I have seen in the past videos about the Moors, and every single time it's a constitutional issue. They call it a constitution thing, and somehow or another tagged as sovereign citizens. I don't know if they classify themselves as sovereign citizen or not, but that doesn't really matter if, in fact, they stand on the Constitution itself. An administrative has a tendency to look to statutes and never the Constitution, and never actually look at the statutes and the guidelines of the Constitution. In fact, what they say, come on, people, they say, Constitution does not apply in my court, even though I signed an oath of office.
Your body wash with the dyes, the sulfates.
You're welcome, YouTube.
And there is one showing the relationship of the vehicle to the sign. So it was parked in full view of the sign when it chose to park there. All right, and do you have any objection, Mr. Krivolenko, to me looking at those and considering them in my decision, sir?
Well, there's no material objections to the pictures. The pictures are fine. I'm not objecting to the pictures.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and admit all of those pictures into evidence. Did you have anything else, officer, before I hear from the defendant? No, Your Honor. All right, you may go ahead, sir. Did you want to ask her questions or just tell me your side of the story?
Of course. Officer Parley, What building was my vehicle allegedly parked next to? You said mail zone. Which building?
It's parked in front of a mail zone sign, sir. I'm not sure of the name of the building that it was parked in front of, but I know the post office runs a part of their business out of it. I do not know the name of the building.
Okay. So the post office. Are you referring to the U.S. Post Office Service?
That is what the sign says, sir. That it's you cannot park there unless you are a U.S. postal vehicle. It's a U.S. mail zone.
That's not what I asked. I'm asking you.
I'm sorry, sir.
That is not what I asked. So
okay, please do ask the question again. I didn't understand it.
I'm going to specifically asking you.
What is the question, sir?
The pictures you've admitted as evidence.
Yes.
Was my vehicle allegedly parked next to a U.S. Postal Service building?
Sir, no. It says it's a park next to a sign that says you must be a U.S. postal vehicle to park there. It has nothing to do with the building.
I'm going to interrupt you again. Listen very carefully what I asked.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Which U.S. postal sign does that building belong to?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, so
I just follow the signs.
So let me ask you this question. Before you issued that citation, should you have verified whether or not you had the authority to even issue a parking citation for that zone?
No, sir, because I have authority to deal with any of the parking signs within the city of Portland. I am a sworn parking enforcement officer. I follow what the signage says. So, to my knowledge, I was sworn in to uphold those signs.
So, that building, as a matter of fact, on the lower level, in that section, belongs to U.S. Postal Service, which is federal property, which makes you a person with no jurisdiction or authority as an employee of the city of the Portland, Oregon, to issue any citations in that zone or operate as an officer in that zone, period. That's your first issue that we need to raise. Your issue of jurisdiction.
I'm leaving this all up to the judge, sir. I have no...
Okay, so the number one, he's making a mistake there. He is actually providing her some stuff to hold against him, and I'm surprised the judge did not interrupt him about this, because it's always supposed to be questions. You're not really supposed to go by statements, which I'm led to believe, if my memory corrects me, that she's going to bring it up.
No say in the matter.
Well, you say no. You're the issuing officer. You have no say in the offer.
I have no say.
I'm going to interrupt you there, Mr. Krivolenko. So, as I explained in the beginning, how these trials work is you first ask questions of the officer. It sounds like you're done asking questions and you're ready to your side.
That's not what I said. I'm not done. I never said that I'm done asking questions. I'm continuing to ask questions and raise my own.
Questions, I hear statements, sir. So if you're going to ask a question, it needs to be a question, not a statement.
Sure. Because my questions are not being answered. They're being avoided. So again, Officer
Just tell your side of the story, Mr. Krivolenko.
No, Judge, I apologize for interrupting you, but you are not going to deny my due process. When I'm finished with my
process to ask questions is happening right now.
Don't interrupt me and don't state on my behalf.
I will interrupt you, sir, if you don't ask questions and make statements. So I know. Let me ask you this, Mr. Krivolenko. Let's take a break here. Are you a lawyer? Are you a
pro se, ma'am? I'm representing myself.
Practice law, sir.
I'm pro se.
Pro se. Okay, so you don't have a law degree.
Do I need to be?
No, sir.
Do I need to have a lawyer's degree to be a pro se, ma'am?
No, sir. And I just want to make sure, because I'm going to give you a little more leniency with the rules if you don't have a law degree. So I'm going to allow you to make statements and ask questions at the same time if you're not a lawyer. If you are a lawyer, then I do need to keep you strictly following the protocol of first asking questions and then making statements. That's how it works.
Well,
so in that instance, I give credit with the magistrate there, right? Or judge. Okay, so I don't know which one she's going to operate. It's all administrative, so it's still magistrate no matter how you look at it. She was going to give lenience because he's not an attorney. So she was actually being a good judge on that behalf. Okay. And remember, people, when you do these things, kind of keep your calm and demeanor down. And that way you don't fluster yourself and lose your train of thought. It's not really because of respect to the court. It's just really more to kind of keep yourself in a good, stable area where you don't run off the rails. Which, by the way, the courts love for you to do. It makes you look bad. And it just makes it easier to rule against you. Alleged retaliation. Because you made them mad.
My question hasn't been answered, so let me reinstate my question and probably ask it in a little bit different way.
Sure.
Officer Farley,
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
is there a U.S. Postal Service on the first level of that entire building, on that street?
I don't know, sir. I assume so. I've never been in the building. I am just following the sign.
Have you ever, prior to that date, walk by that building and see that there is postal vehicles in that area?
There's postal vehicles in that zone. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And that sign specifically indicates that this is a mail zone, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then presumption of that would be that it is a postal office or postal station, and the postal station is belonging to and is under the control of U.S. Postal Service.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, I had to sneeze. Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir. I agree with all of that. That is a statement that you're making, and I'm not
So then,
denying.
All right, so he did it really kind of incorrect. I'm surprised the judge didn't interrupt. However, he's got his point across, right? Because some people don't know this, right? Federal and local don't really mix a whole lot unless there's a statutes that kind of attaches to one another together. And for the city or for the sheriff or anybody like that, there would have to be some form of agreements with the federal deal, right? You see these auditors auditing the post office, right? Well, local cops have no authority to issue a trespass unless there's some form of agreements with the post office and the officer. Until then, it has to be a federal officer. Wrong jurisdiction. So he's right. He is challenging jurisdiction, which you always should do anyway.
statement, I was asking you a question.
What's
So
the
you agree?
question? I'm not sure what the question is, other than for me.
Heard her say she agrees with you, sir. You can move to the
Okay,
next
so-
question.
Great. So that establishes this fact, and you agree that that area is under the control of the federal government, specifically the agency of U.S. Postal Service. You agree?
No, sir, I don't agree. I don't know. I only follow the signs. I am not a judge. Please stop asking me questions I cannot answer.
Boom. Right there. Reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt. She has zero idea that she actually has any jurisdiction to issue a ticket in that one particular parking spot. Okay? That would be more of a post office deal, and that would be more of a trespass issue, I'm led to believe. Not really so much as a ticket, but really the federal government goes in there and issues trespass since he parked in the wrong parking spot, unless there's a statute specifically saying that you're going to be charged for using a post office parking spot. So it don't mean that she can't do it. She just right now admits that she don't know, which, boom, it goes to Tiger here, because reasonable doubt, and the courts is supposed to look at the reasonable doubt.
If you're telling me you're following the signs, which you clearly right now, I'm assuming you do not understand, correct?
Sir, I understand your questions. What I'm saying is it's not my jurisdiction to parse out what is what.
Thank
I
you.
follow what the
Thank you for
sign
the
says.
We have clearly established, and you agree, it is not your jurisdiction, correct?
No, I did not agree with that, sir. I don't know. I follow the signs. I feel
She's
like
already
we're-
answered the question, Mr.
Yeah.
Carolico. She does not know. Next question.
Okay.
And right there, right? The magistrate plainly said she didn't know. So she gave reasonable doubt, and the magistrate should go into Tiger's behalf right there. Okay? All right. Once again, she ruled against the attorney and didn't have a right to do so because the challenging the jurisdiction issue is still within the same guidelines with the attorney, and she still railroaded the attorney. All right, so at least we know she's not one-sided. Well, wait a minute, let me back that up. She is one-sided. This will be the People News. Bye, y'all.